Dear students, in this session 4, we will study how to classify the phylum Protozoa. Classification, as you have studied, it is grouping based on certain common characteristic features. And before going to the classification, we will see the kingdom Animalia comprises first protozoa, which are the first formed animals, and we have seen certain general characteristics of the protozoan group in the last session, and all of them have single cell and certain locomotory structures, and they are all need aquatic habitat for their survival, their cosmopolitan distribution, and function through a single cell throughout their life. So, single celled animals are included in protozoa, and general characteristics we have seen with some common examples. And at the end of this session, you will distinguish different classes of protozoa. How the among the protozoa, there are different groups are included which have different kinds of locomotory structures, and how the different protozoa lead their life in uh, with sharing some common general characteristics. And at the end of this session, you will locate a protozoa, as assign it into a particular class, and know how to classify the protozoa into different classes. And phylum is classified into 4 classes, and it is based on the type of locomotory structures found in the protozoa. As we have seen, there are there are 3 different types of locomotory structures, which are flagella, cilia, and the pseudopodia. There are certain protozoa which do not possess any locomotory structure at all. So they are spore forming protozoa. Therefore, they are without certain, but however, they are at their certain stages of their life history, they possess certain locomotory structures. They are motile and move, and also have different stages of development in their life cycle. So we will classify first the class Rhizopoda or Sarcodina. This class of protozoa are all free living, and they are found in aquatic habitat, and some of them are also parasitic, and they possess pseudopodia as their locomotory structure, and they usually reproduce by binary fission. One example is amoeba. So when we talk about the pseudopodia's locomotory structures, these are temporary extensions of protoplasm which are withdrawn, and there are various organelles inside the cell. They have single nucleus. The body of these rhizopodans consists of ectoplasm and endoplasm with the contractile vacuoles for osmoregulation. And mainly pseudopodia is one distinct characteristic of these animals, when we find one example amoeba and amoeba. We have seen the diagram of amoeba, which endoplasm, ectoplasm, and a plasma membrane covered the simple cell of amoeba. Secondly, the class Mastigophora or Flagellata. Flagellata includes either free living or parasitic form of uh, protozoa. These have flagellum as the locomotory structures. They have a different type of shape because they have a pellicle inside the plasma membrane of their cell, and they are spindle shaped generally, and the flagellum is used for whip-like movements with the beating action and undulating movement, and they move with the help of flagellum, and they reproduce generally by binary fission, which occurs lengthwise or longitudinally, dividing the cell into two. Euglena is one important example, and here we find the euglena with the pyronoid bodies and slight chloroplast with the flagellum, which originates from the blepharoplast granule. And the third class is Sporozoa. Sporozoa includes the parasitic protozoa which do not have a definite locomotor structure, and they reproduce by multiple fission. That means the cell divides into multiple nuclei. Later on, the cytoplasmic division yields many individuals at a time. One common example is Plasmodium, which causes malaria in man. Therefore, sporozoans are spore forming and have complex life cycle in their life history. We'll see different stages of life cycle of Plasmodium, which we'll deal with it later in very detailed way. And fourth, the class is Celiophora, which includes the ciliates or the locomotory structure of these protozoa or cilia, which are free living or parasites. The free living organisms have cilia for locomotion and also for feeding. They use the ciliary beating motion for movement of water around them and move in water, and they reproduce by transfers by the fission and also by conjugation. Some of them yield conjugate individuals. Paramecium is one most common example given. And at the end of the session, we have seen four classes of protozoa, phylum protozoa, and each of them differing with their locomotory structures and nutritional method, either parasitic, saprozoic, saprophytic, or holozoic or holophytic nutrition. So for reference, we can have textbooks as I have mentioned in the earlier slide. And with this, we go to the MCQs. Sporozoan example for sporozoa is Plasmodium. Number of nuclei in Celiophora. There are two nuclei. Amoebae feed with the pseudopodia. Paramecium is seen in the freshwater habitat, and chloroplast is found in mastigophorans. With this, we will come to the end of this session. Please, if you have any doubt, you can ask the, you can go through the textbooks